The subject of today's Season 2 premiere episode is a method of torture and execution that will take us to Northern and Western Europe almost 1,200 years ago. Used sparsely and almost entirely on nobility as a sacrifice to the Norse god Odin, or as a form of revenge, we will go through several Viking texts to find the very few cases of one of the most brutal methods of torture or execution the world has ever seen. Becoming famous in pop culture over the past few years, we'll discuss when it was done, how it was done, and if it was even possible for a victim to survive the entire process, which was the intention. A method synonymous with the Viking warlord Ivar the Boneless. Today we cover the Blood Eagle. I'm Kevin Young.
I am Dan Horgan.
And this is Torture.
I couldn't think of a funny name for myself today. I was singing like Daniel the Boneful or
So I was always like, and this is the third time.
Yeah. You know that Ragnar his name was like Ragnar the Fluffy Trousers or something.
I actually have that later in the show.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, it's Ragnar Lothbrok actually translates to Ragnar Hairy Breeches.
That's it, Hairy Breeches. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder exactly how did he get that name? Was it his breeches that were hairy? Did he have hairy legs? I don't know. But yeah, we'll definitely get into some Ragnar here in a little bit. First, a call to action. Honestly, just go out and tell a friend about the show. Just word of mouth is a huge advertiser. And I'm pretty sure that's how we've gotten, I don't know, at least half of our listeners is just people telling other people about it. So I know it can be embarrassing telling people that you listen to a podcast about other people being tortured, usually to death. But, you know, get over it and tell them anyway.
Imagine how it feels telling people that you co-host a podcast about torture. Like I had a family thing the weekend, and I had one of my t-shirts on. Had the bacon strips style one.
Oh yeah.
Everybody was like, "I'm trying to read your t-shirt. What's this?" I'm like, well, thankfully my wife explained it better than I could.
Oh, that's good. It's like, you've never heard of a bassination? Here, let me tell you. Let me get into it here real quick. If
Not
you
only
even
are
remember.
they an amazing metal band.
All right, well, before we start this show, I just want to take a second to apologize to all of our Nordic, Slavic listeners, whether it be, Norway or Sweden or Iceland, for what I'm about to do to your languages.
My two brothers-in-law are both Swedish.
Yeah.
Now my wife isn't Swedish, so y'all can try and figure that one out. But yeah, so I'm probably going to hear back from at least one of them.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure you will.
My sister-in-law will probably be like, "Oh, you just say you say this." So.
I'm not proud of what I'm about to do, but it's going to happen. And we're all going to have to.
Very entertaining for me. So
I tried a lot of these were because these are like Nordic Scandinavian words from, again, the 9th century. So most of them don't even have a pronunciation on the internet that I can find. So I'm literally just going to, you need to turn your tongue inside out more before you say it in order for it to come out right.
I'm
a simple guy from the Midwest. My tongue doesn't do that. Not all die.
We all forgive you. We won't forgive
We'll get our revenge.
him. Feel free to laugh at him, especially all the Swedes
Oh,
out there.
yes. And email me and tell me how wrong I was, and let me know, because
Yeah, we need butchers the language of Norway Shire.
It was called the Shire. You put two and two together.
Fuck you, talking.
I actually was listening to another podcast a while back, and she's from New Zealand, and she was talking about a true crime case in Arizona. I don't know how much you know about Arizona, but there's a city named Tucson.
Yep.
In Arizona, but it's pronounced it's pronounced Tucson, but it's spelled Tucson. Tucson. And she said Tucson many times. I felt horrible for her. I ended up messaging her and telling her, what was wrong, and I was like, sorry to be that guy, but you mispronounced, Tucson, and she was very happy that I told her, so she could get it fixed. So if I fuck something up, let me know. That's how I learn.
I always
People
tell
telling
you
me that I'm wrong. Well, sometimes you tell me like long after the fact. You're like, oh, you were pronouncing that word wrong the whole time. I just let you keep going because it was funny. Yeah.
Sure, why not? Look, people are here for the entertainment. So,
yeah.
That is part of it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, anyway, let's get into it. Dan, let's take a trip all the way back to the 9th century, specifically March 21st, 867, in the city of York. Now, normally at this part of the show, I have you play a lonely peasant that is captured and tortured for information or to convert to a religion, or someone that broke some arbitrary law or now being punished for it.
Or for being the wrong religion on the wrong day of the week.
Yes, because you're a Protestant today, and then tomorrow you'll have to be Catholic. Yes. But not this time, though. No, this time you get to be a king.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get too excited.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. You are King Ilya, king of Northumbria. Current day North.
Beard, though.
Did he?
I don't.
I don't know.
In Vikings, he did.
In Vikings, he did, yes. That's now current day North Yorkshire, England. See how I didn't say Shire? Dan taught me something. You are on the battlefield staring down the Great Heathen Army, led by the ruthless and brutal Ivar the Boneless. Now, before we go a little bit further, talk, everybody, well, was Ivar the Boneless like they show in Vikings where his legs don't work? It's a possibility.
Was this?
Yeah. That's also a good possibility for those of you who can't see.
Ivar the Flaccid.
Yeah. So it was pretty much one of the. It was either he had a bone condition that made it hard for him to walk or sit up straight and all that stuff, or it's because he was impotent. Until he met that very special someone that was able to, just deal with it. I guess I don't know, but there's a couple different reasons he could have been Ivar the Boneless. Take your pick, whichever one's more entertaining for you.
Sadly, we can't ask him.
I don't know how well he'd be doing today if he was around. So it's maybe sad that we can't ask him because he's kind of a horrible person. So now you might be asking, why is the Great Viking Army approaching? Well, there are a few different theories on that, but the most prevalent one, the one that we put in the history books as quote-unquote facts, is because of revenge. So just a couple years earlier, Dan, you and your army had defeated and captured the Danish king, Ragnar Lothbrok. And I have right there in there, fun fact, Ragnar Lothbrok translates to Ragnar Hairy Breeches.
Sorry.
Okay. No, it's fine with me. I'm kind of surprised that you had already heard that.
I did a bit of research this way after like I was already interested in like all Viking stuff and mythology and all that stuff for a long time before, but and then I was really looking forward to watching the TV show, so I did that. But then I also am still in the middle of playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which happens to have an awful lot of stuff like that in it too, and so just through general reading of things, through interest like that, I saw that. I thought it was kind of funny. Kind of ruined some stuff for myself about Vikings though in the middle of watching it as a result, but you know.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything about old Hairy Breeches until I got to like this real obscure website, like way down in the dark web, and I just couldn't believe that was, because I told my wife and she's like, "That's weird."
It says I knew that the names all originated from something, like the whole something son and all that stuff. Where it used to be like in Sweden and stuff like that. But so I remember I had looked it up specifically as far as I remember to see what that meant, because it was obvious what like Ironside came from, and like Boneless and stuff like that, like the names that they had. You know, so. Right.
Yeah. Thor Odinson.
Yeah.
Because he's Odin's son. Yes. Yeah, they were very like literal with their
Here's a funny little name fact for you now, as I discovered this again through the brothers-in-law being from Sweden. They wasn't that long ago that they all nearly had like very similar surnames and stuff like that. So they got to choose what their own names were. Families did. So like they mean like the most ridiculous of things. I should probably text one of them and say to them, "Hey, what's the whole name thing again?" But basically what happened was they had too many like Svensons or something in the army, like everybody was Svensson and stuff like that. So they eventually they had to change this. Like one of them was like Swan's Pretty Rock or something. That's what it translates to. So it's fucking, they come up with some crazy ass stuff, like it's ridiculous. But the families got to choose what their own surnames were then, because there was just too many of them. But because everybody was whatever son.
It's just that Spider-Man meme. They're all pointing at Svensson. Hansel. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's just as good as anything else. I mean, most English names come from whatever job you had.
Like Baker
or
surname.
Yeah, Baker or Mead or Smith or my last name's
came from.
My last name's Young, so somebody, and one of my ancestors at one point was very young, and they called him whatever the Young, and that kind of stuck. So, which takes you to which is that Exorcist spoof that they made, and they said, "Well, Dad, what did John Hancock do?"
Yeah. Oh, poor John.
John Penis Foot? It's Hancock now. Why? Mind your business, that's why. Oh, fuck. Anyways, Ragnar had been a thorn in the side of the Anglos for many years. So, Dan, when you capture him, you decide to do away with the pain once and for all. But a simple beheading or hanging just won't do. No, it has to be something a little slower, more painful, and terrifying. So you decide to throw him in a pit of venomous snakes. You know how the abundance of venomous snakes in northern England.
Oh yeah, they're just well known for
they're well known snakes. For their venomous snakes.
Yeah.
Which was something that they had pointed out in one of the articles that I had read. It's like, did this happen?
That's the first thing I thought about when I seen that before. It's like, the fuck to get snakes from? Like, you know, like you're doing with a king and you have money and there tend to be people travelling all over the place, but they tend to not bring back live animals and things like, you know, I know the kings having lions and stuff like that and their yokes up, like, why the fuck would you bring back a pit of snakes?
Yeah, especially ones that could, if they get loose, you have no idea where they are until they kill you. That's the two options. You don't know where they are until you are dead, and then at least with a lion, you can see it coming most of the time. Maybe not in the grand forests of, North England.
But Northumbria.
So the last thing you or anyone else hears is Ragnar saying, quote, well, the last thing that you or anyone else hears Ragnar say is, quote, how the little piglets would grunt if they knew how the old boar suffers. Pretty much just saying, hey, because of what you're doing to me, my kids are going to come for it.
Get your ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, how the little piglets would grunt if they knew how the old boar suffers.
That's brilliant. Noogan.
Flurgan.
My favourite part in the entire show, I have to say, though, is a bit during that whole speech. And it goes, a drink from curved horns. It's really funny the way he says curved horns. Oh.
So, not long after this, the Great Heathen Army, led by Ragnar's sons, Ivar, Ubba, and Halfdan, show up in East Anglia with the intentions on revenge and conquest. And now you stand before them, the man that killed their father, in an attempt to stop their progression into the country and to take back York. Spoiler alert, you fail. Just so you know.
Bastards.
You don't have a good time. So if you believe the stories that will be told years later, what happens next is one of the worst ways to die, just short of Ling Chi. There are a few different ways this whole thing can go down. But the one that looks like it's most prevalent is you are laid on your front, naked. You assume that this will be a beheading. I mean, what else could it be? They tie your hands together and your feet together, and several men hold you down. I mean, you're naked, men holding you down. It could be something else, I suppose, than a beheading. Then you feel a piercing in your lower back, on the right side of your spine, near your tailbone, possibly. And then a sharp slice all the way up your back to your neck. Then again on the other side. Stab. Slice. Now you know the slice was deep, as you can no longer move the muscles in your back, and you start to feel, other than immense pain, woozy from blood loss. Then a burning and tearing sensation as the skin and muscles are literally peeled off your back, exposing your rib cage. Then you feel a pounding on your back, and you hear several snaps as the pain from your ribs being broken off your spine sets in.
Sounds like a Thai massage. You turn around as a little Asian woman standing on your back doing the
really get in there.
Yeah.
You a happy ending?
That's another one to add to the list.
Another one that we can't do.
You're not allowed to do that, Kevin. You're not Caucasian. Swedes and Nordics are.
The ribs are pulled away, outward to the sides, forming what looks like wings of bone. Then the man shoves his hands into the cavity and grabs your lungs. Keeping them attached to your bronchioles, he pulls them out of the cavity and stretches them either over the ribs or puts them over your shoulders. Between a mix of blood loss and asphyxiation, you lay there and die. A victim of the Blood Eagle. Another way was that they would tie your hands and your feet to posts, spread eagle style, and performed it on you that way. They made you sit on your knees and hang over like a bar or a box of some sort, or they would tie you to a tree, whatever they could to kind of incapacitate you, make it so you can't move and your back is exposed. But honestly, the details of it are kind of fuzzy. They weren't really detailed in exactly how it happened.
I don't expect somebody was sitting there taking notes while this was happening.
Yeah, what do you think this is? The
True
Bible
that counts.
That was clearly written at the same time it happened.
Yeah. Thanks for the book, James.
Love the re-edits.
Great read. Yeah.
Now, this wasn't like the rack or ducking, where it was used for any old interrogation or accusation. The Blood Eagle was used for very specific people. nobility. In fact, in the 9 written about instances, everyone was someone of great influence and power, captured on the battlefield or after a raid. It also wasn't simply a way of killing the nobility for posterity's sake. It was seen more as a dishonorable death and as a sacrifice to the Norse god Odin, with his one eye.
Good old eyeless Odin. Do you remember why he gave up the eye? Why he has no eye?
Let's see. Was it for gave it up for knowledge? Didn't he?
Yeah, he gave up for basically all the knowledge there could be knowledged.
Yeah, he like hung himself from a tree and let a crow eat out his eye or something. Yeah. So quite possibly the first use of the blood eagle was used on King Aslak Han, which again, probably wrong. Written about in the Saga of Ragnar. Now there are various sagas and skaldic poems we will find in the stories of Brojorn, is how it was told to me it was pronounced on Google, which is, again, probably wrong. We learn about the death of King Elia in the Tales of Ragnar's Sons and the Knulsdrapa. In the Orkney Inga saga...
Sounds like a piece of furniture from IKEA.
Well, I mean, this is pretty much all it is. In the Orkney Inga saga and the Hemskrila, we learn about Torf Inar ritual execution of Harold Fairhair's son, Halfdan Longleg, in the 9th century. So there's more of those, last names that kind of... There's more of a description. It's like, oh, he's got fair hair. Well, that's his last name. Well, he's got long legs. Well, guess what he's called?
So he's half Dan, but he also has long legs. So
yeah,
was he three-quarter length Dan?
Well, he was half Dan, but he was half Dan long ways.
Oh, right. So his left side was Dan, his right side
only
his
left side was Dan.
His right side had long legs, so he's like this.
Yeah, nobody liked Bob, so they only called him after. Oh, fuck. Now, Halfdan, which it's probably Halfdan. I imagine it's probably not half Dan. It's probably Halfdan.
It's Halfdan. Or something like that.
Yeah. But him, together with his brother Gudrun Gleam, were rebellious troublemakers who preyed on Norway's earls. They attacked Einar's father, the aged Earl Ragnvald. Halfdan had the Earl killed by burning him alive in his house. Then he fled to Orkney. Now, the Orkney Islands are an archipelago on the northern Isle of Scotland, situated off the north coast of Great Britain. So, say Orkney is just a bunch of islands that they went to.
Never knew that.
Yeah, you learn something new sometimes. Now, in Orkney, Halfdan declared himself king, and Earl Einar was forced to flee to Scotland. Later that same year, after gathering an army, Einar returned and soundly defeated Halfdan in a navy battle, seeking revenge for the death of his father. Einar slaughtered Halfdan, quote, Einar had his ribs cut from... When I say his, Halfdan's. Einar had Halfdan's ribs cut from the spine with a sword, and the lungs pulled out through the slits at his back. He dedicated the victim to Odin as a victory offering.
Nice.
But see, in that, it just says that he makes slits in the back and pulls the lungs out through the slits. So, and then there's other ones that you read that says that they cut open the chest and break the ribs through the chest. But they,
That starts somewhere, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I feel that you would die a lot sooner doing it that way, but... Oh well. In the Regensmal, we learn about the death of Lyngvi Hodgensen. Now, who was Lyngvi Hodgensen? I have no fucking idea. I looked. He was a king of some sort, but I looked everywhere to find out, and I couldn't get shit on him.
I'm going to try to find him right now.
Yeah, go ahead. He was important enough to write about, apparently.
I'd be so tempted to text my brother-in-law now and say, hey, who's this guy? He was back with a full detailed history about him.
It's fine with me. Now, through these various texts, we often learn about the Blood Eagle's death of King Edmund of England, Irish King Melgulli of Munster. Again, I looked for a pronunciation of this motherfucker, and I couldn't find one.
How do you spell it?
M-A-E.
Yeah.
L-G. U-A. L-A-I.
What the fuck?
He was your king at one point. Back in the, 870s or 860s.
Oh, it's... Yeah, I see this here now. It's Mail MacDougall. It's... This is a variation of spelling this. M-A-E-L space G-U-A-L-A-E.
I saw that too.
Yeah, I see. Jeez, I nearly knocked over my drink.
But every time I brought up pronunciation, it was always like somebody in English trying to pronounce it. They're always going like, Malgulgi. I was like, there's no possible way that's right. I've heard Dan say Irish words. That's not right. I know it's not.
Yeah, it's like MacDougall or something, or Dungale or something. I'd have to...
yeah.
I'm pretty sure my wife will correct me on it if I was to ask her. So yeah, anyway, sorry, go on.
Anyway, also Archbishop Hellier and Brucey of Saudi, or Sowie, or whatever, because for some reason they have weird letters, like a D with the top of the D's all bent over with a cross through it. I don't fucking know. But he was technically a supernatural being, so who knows if it counts. Now, in the Gesta Danorum, it seems to claim that the eagle carved in the back was more literal. Actually, a simple eagle carved in the back of their enemy, an eagle symbolizing death in Viking culture. They would then rub salt into the wound. So,
literally.
Yes. So still painful. Not quite as painful as a full blood eagle, but still, painful. How disappointing would that be, though? All this lore about the blood eagle and removing somebody's entire back to get to the lungs, and then you come to find out it's literally they just took a knife and somebody just kind of drew an eagle in the back of that. Some arbitrary eagle, rudimentary eagle in their back. They sprinkle them with salt like Salt Bay. Right in.
Or they just stabbed some guy who had a tattoo on his back of an eagle or something.
Yeah. They shall speak of this for years to come.
Yeah.
But see, that all brings us to the problem with the blood eagle. It's the same problem we've had with about half of the methods and devices we've covered on this show. Did it really exist? Was it a real punishment or just a literary device? Because here's the thing. All of these prose that were written about the blood eagle weren't written until about 200 to 400 years later. And it wasn't all by Viking poets and storytellers. Some were told by Christian authors, most likely to scare non-believers into leaving paganism and following Christianity. It's like, look how horrible these people can be. Look what they can do. Of course, wait 1,000 years and see what the fucking Christians do. But yeah, I mean, it was just a propaganda tool, is what.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Is the whole thing of having your religion of you going to heaven based on the fact of you having to die in battle and all that stuff to have it switched around. So it's like, yeah, well, look, you could die this way, which means you'll never get to see your God and all this. Is a nice little easy way of persuading people, I think.
Yeah,
the classic Catholic though, here's why you don't want to be this religion. Here's why you want to be with us.
Yeah. Today, and then tomorrow you got to be Protestant, or else,
Yeah.
Then it's illegal. At least Vikings knew where they stood on all this shit. You died in battle, you go to Valhalla, you drink mead with your buddies and tell war stories for all of eternity. I mean, it doesn't matter, Anything else doesn't matter. That's the crux of the religion. With Christianity, there's about 9 dozen different types of sects that you can go through, and all of them are wrong compared to everybody else. So
yeah, but you'll burn in hell if you go against the word of God. But if you go against the word of God, He will forgive you upon death. So you won't go to hell. He'll accept you into heaven with open arms. But you go to hell. But you won't go to hell.
So everybody out there, your grandfather who died after 100 years on this earth, didn't believe in God, but was a good person, gave to charity, did good works, was always there for you and your siblings and all your family. Just everybody loved him. He's burning in hell right now, but Jeffrey Dahmer asked for forgiveness and Ted Bundy asked for forgiveness before they were both killed, so they're in heaven.
Yeah.
If that's fair.
I was going to say, yeah,
it'll be like
Hitler's sitting there having a cup of tea right now with, like, Pope John Paul II. Both of them just chilling out, talking shop. Both of them got forgiven for all their bullshit.
Hitler probably had a better chance of getting in heaven than most of the popes did.
Yeah, especially the one that was there and overseeing the entire thing to do with the scandals. JP. But anyway, I haven't got anything against Catholicism. Let's continue.
No, not a thing.
I have no issues with it.
And anybody that says otherwise has no idea what they're talking about. Oh, burn in hell.
Yeah.
Dan, I have a confession to make. I have
crabs.
Beard dandruff. It's close.
So much worse.
I know. Look away, I'm hideous. All seriousness. All serious.
All serious.
All serious. Me serious now. No funny. No Frankenstein. No fire. Bad. Ah. In all seriousness, many of us men with facial hair have some sort of dry skin under their face fur. I have particularly dry skin, especially on my face, around my nose, my eyes, ears. That beard and mustache, they draw a ton of moisture from your skin in order to stay healthy, leaving the skin underneath sometimes dry, itchy, red, flaky, leading to the beard dandruff. And I struggled with it for quite a while. Struggled to, rein it in. Then I found thebeardstruggle.com. They use all natural products, never tested on animals, that your face, body, and beard will love.
They have day oils to protect your beard from UV rays and dirt and grime, and it keeps your skin from drying out. All the troubles the day can bring. And they have night oils to help moisturize and rejuvenate your skin and beard while you sleep. Not to mention, as of right now, they have 8 different fragrances. According to this.
That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me.
Do you want to know what they are?
I do. I want you to.
Ready?
I want you to pronounce them perfectly.
Okay. Here we go. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
From Alfheim's Forest, which has the scent of woodsy, leather and spices, to Hionir's Home,
Close enough.
scents of greenery, amber and musk, to Valhalla's Gates, with essences of citrus, amber, sandalwood and vanilla.
And right now I'm using the Aesir's Triumph, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, which has the scent of sweet incense, tobacco, whiskey, and cinnamon, and my wife absolutely loves it. Of course, I haven't gotten one from them that she hasn't loved, so. And if you can't choose, just get the sample pack, which comes with 6 of their mainstay scents and 5 milliliter bottles of nighttime elixir, so you can decide what is best for you. But they have so much more than just oils. Balms, wax, shampoo, conditioner, butters, cologne, natural deodorant, skincare products, heated beard straighteners, combs, brushes, shaving kits, growth kits, merch. List goes on and on and on. No matter what kind, length, or style of facial hair you have, the Beard Struggle has the products you need.
You get a free gift for purchases over $50. Then you get another free gift for purchases over $100, and all orders over $65 get free shipping. You have a 90-day money-back guarantee, so you really have nothing to lose. And be sure to use our exclusive coupon code TORTURE19 at checkout to get 19% off your entire order. That's TORTURE19 at checkout for 19% off your entire order.
Torture19 at checkout, or click on the link in the show notes. TheBeardStruggle.com. Do what's right for your beard. Do what's right for your face. I don't think anyone would argue with whether or not the Vikings were ruthless and violent enough to torture and kill kings and noblemen in this way. That's not much of a question. But the purpose of the Blood Eagle, as far as we know, was for the victim to suffer through the entirety of the torture and eventually die of asphyxiation after the lungs were pulled out of the body. Not much of a human sacrifice to Odin if they die within the first couple minutes. So, could one survive the whole process? Well, according to an article in Speculum, a journal of medieval studies by Luke John Murphy, and I quote them quite a bit in this, so I'm going to go ahead and give them credit right in the show. Luke John Murphy, Heidi R. Fuller, Peter L. T. Willen, and Monty A. Gates, the answer is a resounding... Oh, maybe. Probably not.
Are they doctors? No.
They all
down
have,
the road if he knows if they can survive that shit or not.
So it was a few of them who were writing it who mastered in medieval studies, and then some doctors from other universities. I can't remember which of the universities it was because I read through that part real quick, kind of the accolades real quick. But these people pretty much knew what they were talking about. So, and it got published in a major journal. It was in a few others. I found this on the actually University of Chicago website where they had published it. So,
I don't believe anything that's published and due to the fact that the Bible's published. So,
So in theory, it seems like something you could do real quick and get it done before the victim dies. Just rip open the back, grab the lungs, pull them out, In theory, I suppose.
If there aren't any major arteries in the area back there, are there? That I know of.
Well,
I'm not a doctor, people.
Just like most things, it's a bit more complicated. So let's have a little anatomy and physiology lesson, real quick, so we can really see what will happen with the Blood Eagle.
Dr. Kevin's in the house.
Yes.
Our whole new segment. Medicine with Kevin.
I rub cocaine on it. And that's the whole segment. So, first you would have to cut the skin and peel it back, obviously. Problem is, the back has a surprising amount of large muscles in it. Superior, transverse, and inferior trapezius, and latissimus dorsi, so your lats that are way down here. So it would, in theory, be easier to cut through all the muscles at the same time as the skin and pull it all back at once. But you run into yet another problem, something I don't think most of us think of when we think of the Blood Eagle. The shoulder blades. You can't peel all the skin and muscle away and to the sides because the shoulder blades, or scapula, wouldn't allow you without cutting deeper into the back to sever the levator scapula, rhomboid minor, and rhomboid major. That's a part of the process that's not mentioned in any of the ancient Viking texts.
Oh, that's
so
it.
There's another cut.
Myth busted.
That's it. Throw it out the window. It wasn't in the text. Didn't happen. Yeah. No. And that could have just, that could just be along with the whole makes cuts in the back and, pulls away. That could just be included.
They could have folded up to there. Kind of like, if you think about it, it's around here. So, that's still good 2/3 of your back.
Yeah, but where the muscles and everything are connected that are connected to the scapula, it wouldn't just be all the way up here. They'd be way down here to where you couldn't. People are can't see where the fuck I'm doing.
He's
But
pointing at his
you wouldn't
ass.
be able to. You wouldn't be able
Put it
to
away,
get
Kevin.
to that ass. Ooh, is that Darth Maul?
Kevin's got
So you
back.
you wouldn't be able to pull away enough of the skin and muscle to actually get to the lungs. I mean, you might be able to actually touch the lungs, but you definitely wouldn't be able to pull them out. So
Did it, guys? Just poking.
I touched him.
Ooh.
I touched the boat. I touched the butt. Let's say you have an executioner that has a learned knowledge of the human body and knows how to traverse this part of the anatomy with little to no issue. They know how to, they're able to take skin off, muscles off, make the extra cuts they need to, move the scapula. Because once you cut away the muscles around the scapula, the shoulder blades will actually fold away. So, leading to even more of a winged look, I suppose. So, let's say that the executioner knows exactly what they're doing. They're able to get that all pulled away. Nice, quick, clean. Great. Then you come across the next major obstacle, the ribs. Now, texts say that the ribs were cut away from the spine. Problem with this is that the ribs are connected to the spine with extremely tough and flexible ligaments, and cutting through them would be very time-consuming. Time the victim doesn't have.
Mm-hmm.
However, the sagas say that they were cut away with a sword or an axe, which probably means they weren't cut as much as they were broken. It just...
Yeah.
Now, a part of the rib called the neck of the rib breaks without much trouble with a good amount of, force trauma. But again, problem. Hacking away at the ribs, because it would be almost impossible to get all the ribs at once without burying a sword or axe in the victim's back, probably just kill them. And if that didn't, the shards of bone getting forced into the body cavity would. So you would need a fast and effective way of getting the ribs off the bone without trauma to the organs.
Lightsaber.
Well, one of those that you like, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where they can cut the bread and toast it at the same time.
It's like, isn't it in Star Wars, the Family Guy, Blue Harvest? He has the cheese knife, the lightsaber cheese knife. It's just that.
And then Cracker Barrel cheese.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah.
I've had that Cracker Barrel cheese. He's not wrong. It's not good. I used to be a huge... you don't have Cracker Barrels over in Ireland, so I know.
But there is a cheese you could get here called Cracker Barrel cheese, but it's not I think it was... I don't know if it wouldn't be the same one, though. I know it's not, because
I doubt
Irish
it.
company, so it's just...
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. It's about as far as from Ireland, Irish, as you can... It's white Southern people made it. And I don't know, you ever notice... So Cracker Barrel came out and did a big thing. They're very inclusive. They're having rainbow rocking chairs outside their restaurants, and they're stood up and say, hey, everybody's welcome, which is great. Pissed a lot of people in the South off, but that's great. But if you ever look at the Cracker Barrel logo, there's a line that goes from like the rocking chair all the way around Cracker Barrel. That's a fucking whip.
Oh. Wow.
That was used for one very specific thing. And actually, a Cracker Barrel was what the slaves called the barrels that the white man kept their whips in.
Oh, nice.
So
okay.
It's very actually problematic.
Yeah, so I'm looking. It's made by Kraft. That's the one you get here. Is made by Kraft.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's very Irish.
Has the K as the big thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't know Kraft was a Irish name.
It's not an Irish name. It's the thing. That's how.
Kraft sounds very German. Kraft.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Kraft. Yeah. Yeah, I'll send you the thing that'll show you what it is, because I found it on Amazon, and this is pretty much the exact same as the version that we get here. So, because I can't find a link to the Irish store. Cracker Barrel cheese. This is very...
Nope, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That is the restaurant Cracker Barrel. Yeah. Why it's 44 fucking... Oh, because it's a ton of it, I guess. 8-ounce pack of 3. That's 44 fucking dollars.
Yeah, but I can't even see it's currently unavailable for me here.
Yeah. No, over here. Mine says it's $44, $1.83 an ounce. I've had Cracker Barrel cheese. It's not worth it.
Welcome to the cheese.
No, thank you.
Dan and Kevin. Yeah. Tell you what, it ain't no Kilmeaden. Tell you that much.
Yeah.
Irish cheese is the best cheese. Well,
how the fuck did we get on this? Oh yeah, lightsabers. We went from lightsabers to cheese.
Yeah, so we went from cutting somebody's ribs open to a packet of cheese.
From Dan looking up on Amazon for Cracker Barrel cheese. I think we both have ADHD, dude.
Probably.
Oh.
I'm browsing a cheese selection at my local shop. See what they have. Anyway.
So, the writers of the Speculum article had figured out a way that could have worked. So, with a spear or a long knife, with a shallow hook at the tip that could be placed on the rib near the spine. Okay, so I've used a lot of words and phrases on this show that has made both of us cringe and shudder. For some reason, the word that they use in this article, just a simple, everyday, innocuous word,
moist,
made me vocally gasp when I read it. So when I told Stephanie, she just made this disgusted face and froze for about a minute. So it's weird how just the simplest words can give you a very dark description of something, but here you go. So you would put the shallow hook on the ribs and unzip the ribs from the spine.
I just, straight out had the exact thought. Like, that's a perfect. Damn it! Yeah,
I read that. I went, oh God. For some reason, breaking the ribs from the spine is one thing you think about that. You're like, okay, just hack it away. But unzipping the ribs, I don't know. That seems worse.
Well, it's a good opportunity for some merch. You have ribs with a zipper on it now.
But you got to put it on the back.
The way down, yeah.
Got to put it on the back of the spine.
And inside, all you find is a load of Kraft cheese. Or Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel cheese. The whip. Now, unfortunately, no weapons or tools like this have been found. It's purely speculative. They say, well, this could have done it, but they didn't find anything like this. So, was it that? What did they actually use a tool like this? It's not looking like they did. But let's say they did, and all of those were lost, or the tips were all broken off, so we don't know. So now the ribs are separated from the spine, but you still have to fold them outward, which is another problem, because the ribs aren't like metal hangers that you can bend and shape to your needs. They're bone. They're flexible bone, but they're still bone. So bending them out won't quite work, meaning you have to break them, either by hand or with a weapon, leaving to the possibility of damage to the thoracic cavity and the organs inside. So you go through all this quickly and carefully, open the back of the victim, probably all for naught. Now, there's a very good chance that by now your victim is long dead. Anatomically, the skin and muscles of the back receive blood through several arteries, each of which would be severed when the soft tissues were dissected during the initial phase of the blood eagle. None of these arteries are particularly large, but they supply a large volume of tissue, and cutting them would probably result in rapid and significant loss of blood.
Spraying all over.
Yeah.
There goes proof now that I have absolutely no medical knowledge whatsoever. So sure, there's not any major arteries back there. Like, they could cut back there and be okay. Hey,
they're not major. I wouldn't say they're major arteries, but there are arteries. You know, all your muscles get blood flow to them, so there are arteries, and there's none of them are really big, but there's enough of them with enough blood that cutting them would not be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and even more importantly than that, fracturing the ribs would sever intercostal arteries, which emerge directly from the aorta. Now, this would result in significant and rapid loss of blood, dramatic fall in blood pressure, and a substantial reduce in the blood supply to the brain. And perhaps most significant is the risk of damaging the aorta itself during the procedure. You do that, you know, it's over. You know, you get the aorta or you get the femoral artery in your leg, and you're pretty much done. You know, there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Pretty fucked.
Yeah. So if you get to 50% blood loss, the victim is done. You know, 40%.
Just for the people who are listening as opposed to people who are watching, I just changed my background to the Cracker Barrel logo. Hence the reason Kevin got lost in his whole thing. I just had an idea to go on with the whole merch thing because, you know, we need that shit. But like, we should change that there to be like rib cracker in the bottom, rib cracker, and have a rib cage there instead of the
rib
barrel.
Cracker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
rib cracker cheese.
I think I'm pushing it with the Burger King logo on the T-shirt. You know, I think Cracker Barrel.
And here's a better idea: Cracker Barrel. Hit us up. I'll eat your cheese.
We have no shame. We'll push your shit. We don't care.
I'm a bit of a cheese slut, I'll have you know.
But let's say they are still alive. Let's say you heated up the knife and cauterized the wounds as you go, limiting the amount of blood loss. It doesn't say anything about this in any of the texts I read, but I mean, it's always a possibility. It's one of the first things I thought of when I thought of the massive blood loss. It's like, well, they could have, you know, heat the knife up, red hot, used it would have cauterized everything, so the blood loss would have been very limited.
Yeah,
still would have been some, obviously, and the pain probably would have put the person in shock. But you know, the blood loss would have been handled. There's another problem that most people don't think of. I certainly didn't think of until I read it. With the back of the victim completely gone, and the muscles that control breathing separated from the body, the lungs would simply collapse, leaving the victim completely unable to breathe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even think of that one. Yeah.
And the second you pierce into the back, one of those lungs is probably going to collapse. It's how the body works. Now, this would most definitely kill them before the blood eagle could be completed. And then the whole stretching the lungs over the ribs while they're still attached thing is almost impossible since the lungs are collapsed and shriveled up. You would have to completely remove the lungs from the body in order to do it. So, no, surviving through the full blood eagle was pretty much impossible if they happened at all. Not like I had said earlier. The Gesta Danorum says it was simply an eagle carved in someone's back and sprinkled with salt. Other texts say that it was a carving done with an eagle's claw. Some say that it was more along the lines of letting an eagle tear at the back of the victim. And others say that after the battle and most of the bodies were taken away, these particular bodies, the ones of nobility and the kings, were left on the field to be torn apart by the birds. In any case, unless a corpse is found with the telltale signs of the blood eagle done to it, which will probably never happen since these were sacrifices to Odin, they were probably burned afterwards. We'll just never know.
That's pretty mad.
Yeah. I saw a few times, it's like, well, we're still searching for corpses that may have had the blood eagle done to it. It's like, well, if there was only like 9 to begin with, 7 to 9 to begin with, you're probably not going to find it. And even if they were buried, I mean, even if this did happen, again, they're sacrifices. They're not going to dig a big, grave and put them in it to the body's going to be destroyed. They're going to burn it. They're going to throw it in the ocean. They're going to get rid of it. You're never going to find something like this because it was a sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not going to give them like proper burial or kind of what you call it. I'm trying to think like commemorate them in any way, shape, or form or any of that shit.
Yeah, these were these were the Christian enemies. They stood against what they believe. You're not going to get a proper burial, especially if you're sacrificed. So, Dan, do you have any pop culture? I know there's a lot. I know there's pop culture references.
I do. Yeah, I feel obviously the Vikings TV series. You'd see a couple of examples of it throughout that. One of which is far more kind of detailed than the other.
Yeah, it's graphic. Yeah.
Yeah, like they have the whole thing where they're saying that they have to keep their hands up and they're not allowed to show pain, otherwise they won't get into Valhalla if they scream or show. You know what I mean? They have to you have to deal with it like a man.
Which I'm pretty sure was made up for the show.
100%.
But
there's no way in hell. Yeah. Like, except for that Ling Chi dude, nobody else is going through any of that shit. But yeah, I got a couple of things here. It's in Assassin's Creed Valhalla as well. I personally haven't gotten to that part of it yet, but I'm aware of its existence. And I found a song about it.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is fucking hilarious. So the song itself is called Blood Eagle, right? And it's by a band apparently called Van Lade, Vanlade, from their album called Iron Age. Right?
All right. I'm okay. Getting a theme, but okay.
Yeah. So the album cover art, the best thing I think I've ever seen. This is fucking brilliant. Right? So I'll set the scene for you, right? So the background is of like mainly kind of stormy-ish kind of sky, and it's like water for about the bottom third of it or so, and it's kind of like a water's edge, so the water's kind of rushing a little bit, like splashing up as if it's on rocks. On the right hand side, we have a fully naked woman holding up a sword in her hands like this, presenting it to somebody. The person she's presenting it to is a guy standing there, bare-chested, muscly dude, wearing a pair of what look like leather trousers, gripping his own crotch, while holding a white flying V guitar up in the air above his head, and going like. I'm assuming though, like this would be considered 18 stuff. I shouldn't put up anything that has nudity in the background here, so I won't put it up. But you can go look it up yourselves if you want to. But there's a 30-second snippet of the song. I listened to that in a while. But here's the lyrics for you.
All right.
A look in your eyes, you'll pay for your crimes. When Blood Eagle takes his revenge, captured to torture, there is no escape. Spread your wings by force. Get ready to die. Scream for your master. Pain just too great to bear. Why? Echoes of laughter. Crucifixion. Take to the skies. Blood Eagle. And there's more to it than that, but I just imagine them going, Blood Eagle!
The way you said Blood Eagle, I could just think Family Guy's like, Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. But, apparently,
well,
it says there's only one viewer. That must be me on it.
Probably. I was curious to what it looked like, so I looked up Blood Eagle song, and there's actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, I found another one. Yeah.
8, 9 songs called Blood Eagle, and a band called Blood Eagle.
I found MDM and Skull Bludgeon, Blood Eagle.
Yeah, I have Wardruna. Anthrax has a song called Blood Eagle Wings. Fire Spawn. Red. Death and Fire. Periphery. Paul D. Beats. Talamuse. And Garbeast.
I didn't know Periphery had a song called Blood Eagle.
And then the band Blood Eagle has great songs like A Life That Rots Away, Eyes Sewn Shut, and Doctrine of Death.
Nice.
thought that was me, Dr. Kevin, because I put cocaine on it.
There you go. If it smells, just cut it off. That's a bit of doctorly advice there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to give this other Blood Legal song a listen though. Oh Jesus! I hit play back there, so full blast, and I just fucking in my ear.
I heard it for half a second before Zoom cut it out. I heard it for half a second.
Wow! That's all you hear.
All right, well, let's say thank you to our patrons, Inquisitor Willow Quinfowler, Executioner Jagavani. And actually, they emailed me the other day, and they emailed us the other day, and they approve of how I say their name. So I'm going to keep doing it. Jagavani! And our torture noob, NX Sinister 26. Thank you all so much for supporting us. Go follow us on Instagram, all the other social medias at TorturePod. Email us, torturepod@gmail.com. If there's anything you would like for us to cover, or you have any comments, rate and review on Apple, follow, subscribe wherever you listen. Apparently not Stitcher anymore. They sent a big thing out, Stitcher saying that they are canceling their operation. So if you listen on Stitcher, go find us. I guess their sister platform or whatever is Pandora, so you can go find us on there. But I don't anybody use Pandora anymore.
Podbean. Let's go Podbean.
Podbean. Good Pods is good because you can leave reviews on Good Pods. You know, wherever else you can listen, go listen somewhere. But yeah, Stitcher's going to be done here, like the middle of August or something like that. Cool. Head over to our YouTube page where you can see snippets of the episodes and listen to full-length episodes. If you'd like to donate to the show, you can either on our link tree, which you can find on our socials, or you can buy us coffee at buymeacoffee.com/torturepod. Or you can go to our Patreon and sign up. Patreon.com/torturepod. And right now you can sign up for a free 7-day trial version to our cult leader tier, which gives you pretty much everything except for like the free merch and sitting in on an episode with us. So unless you upgrade to the Executioner tier, but I mean 7 days free just to see what it's all about. Yeah. And you can go buy our merch, something like the hat I have on right now, which just disappeared. Now I touched it and it's the TARDIS on my hat. We have the hats, we got the t-shirts, clocks, whatever you want. We get at redbubble.com/people/torturepod. Hint for our next episode, we get back into cults with real-life sex-crazed vampires.
So my family. Yay.
Something like that. Sure. Yeah. Dan, do you have any words of wisdom?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so here's a nice one. This one's for the ladies, the wives more so. Y'all know what I'm talking about now when I say this. If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man how to fish, and you can get rid of him for an entire weekend.
There you go. I always like the one, ladies, if you ask your husband to do something, he will do it. You don't have to nag him for the next 6 months.
Yeah. It'll get done.
All right.
Eventually.
I will do it, but I will do it when I want to, not when you tell me to.
Prime example of that right now is I've wardrobes we got fitted in 2 years ago and I still have to put handles on. I put handles on one and use that to mark masking tape in order to be able to just stick that on and then drill the holes for the other ones. The masking tape is just sitting on the edge of the door. I could have just done it that day, but do you think I did? No.
This was years ago. We had bought a little shelf to put in our kitchen to put our Wi-Fi in, to put our router in, because it's kind of in the middle of the house, so it'd be better situated. So everybody can get Wi-Fi better, and I haven't put the shelf in. We haven't moved our Wi-Fi. This was years ago, and she's asked me about it since then. I was like, if I was ever to do that, I was like, nah, I think the Wi-Fi's fine where it's at.
Yeah. Too lazy to put the shelf up.
There's no point. Fuck it.
Sure. It is what it is.
Right.
I suppose.
Yeah. Oh well. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. We'll see you.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you.